I'm David Tillman from nootropicsexpert.com, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the best nootropics for social anxiety. If you feel inadequate, embarrassed, inferior, or humiliated, and it prevents you from going out and meeting new people, or generally messes with your quality of life, nootropics can help. Social anxiety is a type of anxiety and affects at least 13% of the people living in the U.S. While the numbers aren't available, I'm confident that this is a worldwide problem. You are dealing with social anxiety if you do your best to avoid going into any situation where you feel that you'll be negatively judged or evaluated. Back in the day, they used to call these things phobias. In this case, it was social phobia. Social anxiety is treated by mainstream medicine in two ways: cognitive behavior therapy with drug or with drugs. You may have tried either or both with limited success. In this video, you'll find out why they didn't succeed in taming your symptoms, and provide you with some natural solutions that may work better. Now, this is a fairly lengthy video. It's divided into, first of all, I'm going to talk about the causes of social anxiety, and then I'm going to talk about the neurotransmitters involved in social anxiety and anxiety in general. And then I'm going to talk about the recommended nootropics for social anxiety, including natural alternatives to beta blockers and natural alternatives to SSRIs, MAOIs, and other anti-anxiety drugs. You can skip through to those sections of the video that you're interested in by clicking on the time links that are below in the description of this video. But if you're dealing with social anxiety, I highly recommend that you sit with me and explore all of the issues involved in social anxiety, and hopefully you'll have some answers by the end of this video. One of the problems with social anxiety is poor self-esteem, and it feels like it's somehow your fault, that social anxiety is a moral failure, or it could be caused by a crappy childhood. Nothing could be further from the truth. Social anxiety is primarily a chemistry imbalance in your brain. And if this balance of neurotransmitters and their symptoms can be restored, you should be relieved of social anxiety symptoms. Your brain is governed by multiple neurotransmitter systems. The most extensive of these are GABA and glutamate. The other three neurotransmitter systems, serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine, have also been studied extensively in both normal states and states of anxiety. And we know that each of these neurotransmitters plays a role in anxiety because there are prescription drug therapies that address each one. But social anxiety is not caused by a deficiency in one neurotransmitter or another. The networks governed by the neurotransmitters are interrelated, have multiple feedback loops, and sport complex receptor structures. This is why you may have had little success with your anxiety and using prescription SSRIs or MAOIs, and why nootropics, especially adaptogens, could be your answer. But more on that in a minute. So if you have been led to believe by others that the primary culprit associated with social anxiety is GABA or glutamate, and that phenibut or aniracetam are guaranteed to relieve your social anxiety issues, you have not been given the full story about what's causing your anxiety. Next, we're going to look at each neurotransmitter and its association with social anxiety. Serotonin plays a fundamental role in regulating your brain states, including anxiety, and modulates dopamine and norepinephrine as well. There are several serotonin receptor subtypes. For example, serotonin 1A receptor is both an inhibitor and a mediator of serotonin, depending on whether it's in the presynaptic or postsynaptic neuron. Not all serotonin subtype receptors provide anxiolytic effects. A classic example of this is the serotonin 2A receptor, which provides the psychedelic effects when you use LSD or mescaline. But despite all this complexity, it's true that many people get some relief from anxiety symptoms by using meds that inhibit the reuptake of serotonin using SSRIs. If you respond well to SSRIs but hate the side effects and are looking for a safe alternative, you can try 5-HTP, Phenibut, or Picamillan. And I'll talk about and see if any of these agree with you, but I'll be talking about more of these nootropics a little bit further in this video. GABA is your main inhibitory neurotransmitter. It increases in GABA using barbiturates or benzodiazepines can have an anxiolytic effect for some people. Drugs in this class do not directly bind to GABA receptors. Instead, they affect the associated chloride channel. Barbiturates do this by increasing the duration of the channel's open state, while benzodiazepines increase the frequency of opening. The big problem with these types of drugs, however, is tolerance and potentially fatal side effects. And they kill your ability to encode memories. So sometimes anticonvulsant drugs like gabapentin are used instead, which blocks calcium channels, resulting in a boost in GABA transmission. And this is why some of the racetams display anxiolytic activity, because nootropics like aniracetam and oxiracetam affect ion channels, somehow increasing the excitability of these neurons and increasing the effectiveness of some neurotransmitters. But more about that a little bit later on in this video. Dopamine's role in normal and anxiety activity in your brain is complex, and dopamine pathways affect social anxiety in several ways. For example, drugs like olanzapine inhibit the dopamine D2 receptor and provide anti-anxiety effects. Dopamine signaling helps promote feelings of self-confidence and self-esteem, which helps reduce anxiety, which is a reason why some people with social anxiety issues respond well to drugs like Wellbutrin, which helps boost dopamine. So in the next section of this video, I'm going to have more on nootropics like folate and L-theanine that'll help boost dopamine in your brain. Norepinephrine plays a complex role in anxiety states, and many social anxiety symptoms can be reduced by modulating norepinephrine in your brain. For example, propranolol, which is classed as a beta blocker, is an antagonist of the beta-2 norepinephrine receptor, is used to reduce the rapid heart rate, tremors, and quivering voice that you get when you're about to step in front of an audience on stage. Some SNRIs, or serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors, also are effective in quelling social anxiety symptoms. Drugs like Cymbalta help boost serotonin and norepinephrine activity in your brain. Several natural nootropic alternatives to beta blockers are available. Nootropics like magnesium, L-tryptophan, and St. John's wort are used by many to treat social anxiety. But more on these beta blocker alternatives a little bit later on in this video. Glutamate is your primary excitatory neurotransmitter. It is involved in every neuronal pathway in your brain and body, including those that affect social anxiety states. The NMDA receptor is also particularly important for social anxiety disorders because it helps mediate learning and memory. Activating the NMDA receptor triggers protein synthesis, which strengthens the connection between neurons. This NMDA activity is how effect on learning and memory is likely one of the reasons why cognitive behavior therapy is sometimes effective in treating social anxiety, because you are pushed into situations that help you unlearn certain situations that make you uncomfortable. But forcing you to walk into a crowded bar and asking the phone numbers of 50 female strangers simply to unlearn the social anxiety that keeps you from meeting new people seems like cruel and inhuman punishment to me. There has got to be a better way. And it turns out there is. Nootropics like cat's claw, many of the racetams, L-theanine, and Nupep all modulate NMDA receptors and glutamate. Several other neurotransmitters play a role in social anxiety, and the associated systems involved in anxiety, including neuropeptides, corticotrophin-releasing factor, and cannabinoids. But none of these experimental compounds that affect these neurotransmitters have translated into FDA-approved drugs. The excuse is the stringent criteria for approval of these treatments. I'd guess that money plays more of a role than stringent criteria, because you can't patent and charge exorbitant prices for compounds like cannabis, which in low doses is a very effective social anxiety treatment. And Nupep is based off an endogenous neuropeptide. Researchers in Moscow found Nupep similar to paracetam, not only in its nootropic effect, but also its anxiolytic activity. So if you are currently being treated for social anxiety, or suspect you may be dealing with undiagnosed anxiety disorder, and are looking for more natural, safer ways to treat your symptoms, nootropics could be the answer. And you're not alone for looking for alternatives to drugs that come with a host of side effects. Research in the United States and other countries show that significant numbers of people use alternative medicine to treat their problems. A study in the U.S. with 1,035 people showed that more people were using alternative medicine and nootropics to treat social anxiety symptoms than for any other health problem, including back problems, chronic pain, and urinary tract infections. Another meta-analysis of 42 clinical studies was used to determine which was more effective in taming anxiety. They compared cognitive behavior therapy with drug treatment. The meta-analysis concluded that the evidence showed there was little difference in the positive outcomes of using therapy or pharmaceuticals. This meta-analysis tells us that if you had a choice between the humiliation of cognitive behavior therapy or nootropics, the outcome would be about the same, so which would you choose? If your choice is nootropics to treat social anxiety issues, here are some that you can try. In the section on norepinephrine, we found that prescription beta blockers are often used to treat anxiety. Some natural alternatives include DHA. Fatty acids make up a significant portion of your brain cell membranes. Low levels of omega-3s result in ADHD, anxiety, depression, suicide, and an increased risk of Alzheimer's and dementia. DHA is an omega-3 fatty acid. Magnesium. Lack of adequate magnesium can result in brain fog, anxiety, and depression. Plasticity of neuron synapses is affected by the presence of adequate magnesium in brain cells. St. John's wort has been used for centuries to treat anxiety, depression, and stress. St. John's wort works by preventing the uptake of serotonin in your brain. It works like prescription antidepressants. And a quick note about vitamin D. Excessive levels of this vitamin can affect the way your body and brain processes calcium. Calcium channels in your brain are implicated in anxiety. Now, you absolutely need adequate vitamin D levels in your body. Just don't overdo it. So rather than separate these into how each affects the various neurotransmitters that affect social anxiety, I'm going to talk about them in alphabetical order. So please do the research on each nootropic before you try it, especially if you're currently using prescription anti-anxiety drugs. I'm going to go briefly through these one by one. Aniracetam. This member of the racetam family of nootropics works with dopamine and D2 and D3 receptors in your brain and desensitizes AMPA or glutamate receptors. Aniracetam is one of the most effective antidepressants I've ever tried. And its effects on dopamine in your brain can have a profound effect on anxiety symptoms. Ashwagandha. This adaptogen has been used for millennia to relieve anxiety, fatigue, restore energy, and boost concentration. Clinical studies have shown ashwagandha to repair and even reverse damage caused in the brain that caused by chronic anxiety and stress. Bacopa monnieri. This adaptogen has been used since ancient times to reduce anxiety, depression, and stress. It protects your neurons and balances neurotransmitters. Folate, or vitamin B9, is used by your brain to make dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin. Folate is involved in gene expression, amino acid synthesis, and myelin synthesis and repair. It's even involved in cerebral circulation, or blood flow in your brain. There's powerful anti-anxiety treatment in this B vitamin. Ginkgo biloba. This tree is native to China and has been used for thousands of years to boost mental alertness, improve blood flow in the brain, and for overall brain function. Many have found that ginkgo is very effective in reducing stress and anxiety and boosting mood. Ginseng. Panax ginseng has been used as a memory booster, improves mood, lowers anxiety levels, and boosts stamina and endurance. Gotu kola is one of the most important herbs in ancient Ayurvedic medicine. This herb helps boost nerve growth factor, which can have a profound effect on anxiety. Many report that Gotu kola may be even more effective in reducing anxiety and relieving stress than ashwagandha. So remember that one, Gotu kola. Kava is native to the South Pacific, and the islanders use kava for its sedative effects. Kava can help reduce anxiety and improve mood. Unlike benzodiazepines, kava does not impair cognitive function. In fact, studies show that kava may boost cognitive function. Lemon balm is used for its anti-anxiety effects. Rosmarinic acid, a compound found in lemon balm, inhibits the GABA transaminase enzyme, which in turn helps maintain adequate levels of GABA in your brain, resulting in a calming effect. Lion's mane mushroom boosts brain nerve growth factor, which increases neurogenesis. That means growing new neurons. Lion's mane can help improve focus and attention, boost thinking, repair brain cells, help depression and anxiety, and manage other neurological problems like Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, and muscular atrophy. L-theanine naturally occurs in green and oolong tea. This amino acid is used as a nootropic for anxiety, learning, and mood and focus. It works quickly in your brain to increase dopamine and serotonin. Phenibut is a GABA agonist and primarily binds to the GABA B receptor. GABA A receptor agonists include alcohol and benzodiazepines. Phenibut can have a sedative effect and has strong anti-anxiety qualities. It can be used to combat depression, improve mood, cognitive function, and motivation. Phenylalanine. This amino acid is a precursor to the synthesis of tyrosine in your brain. Tyrosine then helps with the formation and utilization of the neurotransmitters dopamine, epinephrine, norepinephrine, and melatonin, helping to relieve anxiety and chronic pain and boost focus and motivation. Picamilin is a combination of niacin or vitamin B3 and GABA. Similar to phenibut, picamilin improves memory, concentration, motivation, focus, has strong anti-anxiety properties, and can lower blood pressure. Rhodiola. Rhodiola activates AMPA receptors in your brain, which decreases depression and stress-related mood swings, reduces fatigue, stimulates energy and alertness, and it boosts cognition. St. John's wort. This plant has been traditionally used for mood disorders and wound healing. Today it's used mostly as a treatment for anxiety, depression, and stress. St. John's wort works like prescription SSRIs by preventing the reuptake of serotonin in your brain. But please read the precautions on using this nootropic in my extended article on nootropicsexpert.com. Very important for St. John's wort. Tryptophan. This amino acid is a precursor to serotonin, melatonin, and niacin, or vitamin B3, in your brain. L-tryptophan is used to treat anxiety, ADHD, depression, insomnia, memory loss, and eating disorders. Vitamin B6 helps your brain make serotonin, norepinephrine, and melatonin. The activated form of vitamin B6, called P5P, is particularly effective in boosting serotonin and GABA in your brain and providing potent anti-anxiety effects. So check the bottle for vitamin B6 and make sure that you're getting the P5P version. Vitamin B12. This B vitamin plays a key role in the efficient conversion of carbohydrates into glucose, your cell's source of fuel. It also helps your body convert fatty acids into energy. Supplementing with vitamin B12 can help lower anxiety and elevate alertness, cognition, energy, vision, elevate mood, and relieve insomnia. No more mood swings. Nootropics are a strong alternative to many anti-anxiety medications currently prescribed by doctors and promoted by the big pharmaceutical companies. But a very strong word of caution: if you are currently using any prescription anti-anxiety or antidepressant medications, or any medications for that matter, research, please, each nootropic, including the side effects and prescription drug interactions, before using any of them. They're all listed in the nootropics list on Nootropics Expert. You can eliminate social anxiety once and for all with nootropics if you do your research, and you're willing to experiment until you find the one or two that is right for you. So that's my report on nootropics and social anxiety. If you want to see a transcript to this video, please click on the link below this video, or just go to Nootropics Expert and search for social anxiety and you'll find it. I'm David Toman, author of Nootropics Expert.